Some are calling her Tacoma's best teacher, but Anne Hawkins decided, enough was enough.
I thought I was a lifer. I thought I would be at Jason Lee until they dragged my scarred carcass out of the building. But this particular strike just says to me everything that the district thinks about the teachers.
Hawkins has been in the classroom for 19 years. So Brandy's here with more. There's been so much reaction to her decision.
Yeah, a lot of disappointment, but more so kind of anger that it came to this. And obviously a lot of sadness, a lot of broken hearts. I mean, we know that teachers can touch people's lives. This is a teacher that a lot of people looked up to and respected and loved. We saw a lot of different reactions. One of them was from Nate Bowling, Lincoln High teacher, 2016 Washington State Teacher of the Year. He tweeted this. He said, "Anne is the best teacher I have ever seen, period. I model my instruction after what I learned from her. She's held it down at Jason Lee Middle School for decades. Her resignation breaks my heart." And Nate Bowling joining us live on the phone this morning. Nate, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So what can you add to that tweet? When you heard that Anne had decided to submit her resignation, what was going through your mind?
I'm totally heartbroken about it. I taught across the hallway from Anne, and I was really struggling with students. And one day I walked in and watched the same students who wouldn't work for me working for her. And I asked her afterwards, how did you do it? And she said to me, "Nathan, it's never the kids, it's you." And that stuck with me always. And to see her driven out of my district that I've worked in my entire career and where I was a student, it really hurts today, honestly.
What has the school district lost with Anne leaving?
Anne is the best teacher I've ever seen, period. She works at Jason Lee Middle School, which is the middle school that I went to, that serves Tacoma's Hilltop. And she's done more work to get middle school kids ready for high school and into college than anybody I've seen. When I get students, so I teach 9th grade and 12th grade, I can tell Hawkins kids when they come into my classroom, they have a note-taking strategy she teaches, they have an intensity, they do the handshake that she teaches them. She is a gift to education, and losing her from Tacoma schools is a huge loss.
This is something we've heard from teachers in Tacoma, that if they don't get a deal, they were going to maybe seek jobs in other districts. They were getting their resumes ready. Given the fact that you have someone like Anne Hawkins who has said that she's going to leave, do you think there will be others who follow her?
No, there absolutely will. Where I sit on the salary schedule, if I moved to a neighboring district, I could make between $7,000 and $12,000 more than I made last year. And I've received emails and text messages from HR people and principals in neighboring districts letting me know exactly that. And I'm not the only teacher in Tacoma who's getting that. Tacoma's historically been a destination district that people move to. I've recruited teachers to Tacoma from Highline and from Kohler Park. And if we don't get a fair contract, we're going to lose talent. We're going to lose young teaching talent to neighboring districts. And that's going to harm our community and harm our students. And our students are the highest need students in the region.
That from a finalist for National Teacher of the Year. I'm sure that's a scary thing for the Tacoma School District to hear. I'm curious, though. Let's get down to brass tacks. As this moves forward, Tacoma's saying we simply can't afford what they're asking for. Who do you blame more, Nate, for the situation that we find ourselves in? Do you blame the state and lawmakers for the way that the McCleary money was doled out? Or do you really think the district has the money and they're just not giving it up?
Well, there's a lot to blame to go around. When the McCleary settlement came out at the legislature last year, I was perplexed by how last minute it was, and it was done in the middle of the night, and there were no real numbers available. At the same time, Tacoma Schools is receiving the highest per student allocation of any school district in the South Sound, but then is offering us some of the lowest wages. And so there's lots of blame to go around. The bottom line is I will not vote for a contract that pays Tacoma teachers below the average of our neighboring districts, because doing so basically opens a valve that will leak teaching talent out of our district.
So how do you see this ending, Nate? Last question for you. How do you see this ending?
I'd like us to come to a settlement. Tacoma Schools has brought in a professional bargainer. They've brought in a mediator. They've asked for non-binding arbitration and now binding arbitration. But what they haven't tried is making a fair contract offer.
All right, Nate Bowling of Lincoln High School, the 2016 State Teacher of the Year. We're sorry to hear about your friend Anne Hawkins leaving, and I want her to know, and I want you to know that regardless of what happens and the money involved, that we appreciate what you do and what your fellow teachers do for our kids and our communities. It's really important that you know that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being with us. To hear, Anne Hawkins is leaving is, devastating for a lot of people down there.